I must say though that the angel statue here, like that little walkway palisade thing, like with the big angel coming off of it with the spear, it looks great. Like these are some interesting looking environments,
Right.
but do they look like a successor to Diablo 2? It looks like they were taking the rough ideas that we saw in the Pandemonium Fortress. You know, they're clearly taking sort of that brief sketch of a style from Pandemonium Fortress and extending that.
Right.
I think it's interesting to look at, but I don't know if this would be Diablo game. It looks more like Sacred, honestly.
It
Yeah, I was
does.
gonna say it actually looks more like Sacred or Dungeon Siege. Like those angels there do not look as cool as Tyrael. Like they look completely different.
Yeah.
They look like butterflies. Like their wings look like fluttering butterfly wings.
It's the main
That
vibe
is
I
not
got
cool.
when I looked at these screenshots was this looks like an entirely different game, like not Diablo at all. You know, like Sacred or a game developed by some other company. It just
That was
doesn't
actually-
have that Blizzard
yeah.
shine or
My
Diablo
first
feel to
instinct
it.
when I saw them was like, that's not Diablo.
I mean, if it came out and Blizzard was like, no, that doesn't have anything to do with us. That was just some developer on what they wanted to Diablo 3 to look like. I'd be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I totally see that.
Does not surprise me.
Not in the least.
That was
I could- I could see these making a good RPG environment, or at least an enjoyable RPG environment, but I don't know if it would capture if it would be suitable for the pace of Diablo. And I think that's probably why they went back to a fixed camera, is so that you can focus on getting from point A to point B and murdering stuff along the way.
Yeah, it's really hard to tell with stuff like this because you don't know if they just did the camera angle for just the shots, just to demonstrate the level design, or is it actually a locked isometric camera?
Yeah.
You know, you get speculated to death.
And at the same time, you know, God of War is extremely fast-paced, lots of point A to point B, lots of murdering people, and it has a movable camera. So, you know, I could eat crow over that.
I think the only thing that really struck me as odd were reading through the comments when I first loaded up some of these images and hearing these people saying, "Oh man, this is what it should have been." I'm looking at them going, "What?
No.
What?
Why
Are you
would you
kidding
want
me?
that?
No.
Seriously?"
Compared to what we have now, is that a joke?
There are a
Had to
lot
have
of
been
jokers out there.
Sarcasm. So I just don't believe it.
Like I say, there were a lot of people that sounded very serious in their comments. I just couldn't get it.
Oh no. I'm very happy
Oh,
they went
you know
a different
what?
direction.
We could use that as a segue into some. No, we won't. We'll carry on. I just realized that segue would just I would just go off. So
Now,
carry on.
there is one advantage to this that we aren't entirely going to get in Diablo 3. And, you know, if you're going to make a style, if you're going to make a control scheme, you have to make concessions. No one has everything. But what we do get here in these is a very nice sense of depth. I'm looking at one where there's a kind of a bridge, and you can see those angel platforms in the background, and it does give a nice sense of depth to the world, and you can see, you know, the environment going off in the distance. And when we see the artwork of some of the new cities, and that one in particular, and I really should do my research better before I open my mouth.
Describe how it looks, and I'll tell you what it is.
It's the one where we were speculating on the 5th class, where it's got like the bishop and the soldier standing around out in front of it.
Oh, you're talking about Chaldeum.
Chaldeum, yes. You know, you see sort of the environment shots of Chaldeum, and that kind of looks like a place that could really benefit from some good depth.
I'll certainly give you that.
Environment that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
you know, it would have been a different experience. And, you know, part of me does want to see the Diablo universe in more depth. I kind of do want to see it towering over top of me. At the same time, I also want to move as fast as I can from A to B and kill stuff.
Well, I will add one counterpoint to this. Remember the very first gameplay video that ever came out, and you first enter the level and you have all those ghouls climbing up the walls.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's been very difficult to accomplish with this camera angle because you might not have really been able to see that going on unless it automatically starts shifting the camera for you.
Mhm.
So certain effects would have.
Oh, man,
would've
I'm
been-
just...
Yeah.
I'm turned on right now.
I spent a good 20 minutes with my nephew going over these pictures and comparing them with screenshots of what we have now, Diablo 2011 version, from all the screenshots. And it's just the attention to detail they put into their environments to make them real and look like stuff actually goes on, and that it has existed for a long time, and that age has taken its toll on it, and there's destructed things, and not everything's the same. It doesn't look like a floor was laid out and then they just applied a texture to it, It actually looks like it was constructed brick by brick or whatever. There's holes in the railing and all kinds of stuff. Holes that monsters can fall down, even. Destructible environments. I mean, these shots, this is heaven and demons have invaded heaven. It doesn't look like that. It still looks all too neat and plain textures that were just stretched over flat surfaces.
If demons invaded this heaven, it was 5 minutes.
Yeah, seriously. It's happening
Or it
right
was
now.
For the best.
The gates just broke down.
They pulled the car up and they're getting out and they're stretching out.
Guys,
just
it's
give us 5
obvious.
minutes.
It's obvious. The hero is breaking down the gates so hell can get in there and destroy this beautiful architecture. They just said, hey,
wants to share.
I've been
That would-
fighting hell all this time. I just need to fight heaven now.
It'd be an interesting storyline, but that would be the climax of it.
Even the dungeon, I mean, this is supposed to be a dungeon that has existed for a long time, and it looks like a college kid's or high school's kid's 3D level design project. He's like, I'm going to put some columns here, put a different texture on there, add some statues over here. I mean, no real thought went into, let's take a chunk out of this wall, or let's have this pillar broken, that type of thing that they have now.
Yeah, I mean, it's really early stuff. I would say that the heaven stuff shows more innovation. The dungeon is very, very generic.
Yep.
I'll give it a
Copy paste.
I'll give it the benefit of the doubt though, because when you look at the very first screenshots that came out for Diablo 3, the main version that we know that when it was first announced, it didn't have a lot of detail. There were a lot of generic things, and it was missing a lot of character. So you still have to wonder if this would ultimately be a lot more polished looking, a lot more destroyed looking, and more detailed than it is now. But I guess for the sake of argument, it doesn't matter too much.
Yeah.
Well, and even going back to some of the very, very early Diablo 1 stuff, the dungeon, it was flatly lit. There was no clutter on the ground. There were no barrels, and it looked really, really sterile. And then they went and they lit it and they cluttered it up and they threw crap on the walls, and so yeah, benefit, a lot of benefit of the doubt. I mean, this is clearly an unfinished product, and it was clearly extremely early in production. Who knows if this was even playable or if this was just posed.
Right.
It looked pretty posed to me. I mean, you see those fight scenes, it's just it's very sterile.
What fight scenes?
By fight scenes, I mean there are these fallen succubi-looking things that are really, really lame-looking.
And the character just standing there.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's all we have to say about that. What else we got, Ken?
The next biggest thing is the male demon hunter.
Ooh, that's right.
Just as a precursor, I feel kind of bad about this just because of the delay that happened with it. The male demon hunter looks like the male demon hunter. Looks pretty much like I thought he would. It's nothing like, OMG, let's just, flip out. But, I mean, he's cool. But it's almost too bad that it took them so much longer than they're expecting to get it out. And I don't get what's with the, it was thrown back to the animation department. Was it just for the way he's standing in the character select screen? Because
I guess
that's the only animation we have of him.
Exactly.
And I don't know. I mean, there's been some critique already on the way he's standing there in the half horse stance. My only comment to that is that the horse stance is supposed to be a power stance, and that's what he's doing. He's in a power stance, so it makes him look powerful.
It probably got tossed back to animation for some, obtuse and boring reason, like his hands were clipping through his thighs, on all the animation. So they went back and, I don't know, reproportioned him or something.
His left hand one-handed crossbow is clipping through his shoulder armor right now.
I was going to say...
Send it back.
Yeah, send it back.
Send it back. I don't know. I mean... He looks cool, and he actually looks cool enough that I don't know if I'd have a female or a male demon hunter. They both look pretty sweet.
Yeah,
I'd have to actually see how he moves, though, like when he's actually running around. That's really what I'd need to see.
I'm surprised by the face. It's very Orlando Bloom.
Yeah,
it's got facial hair. Orlando Bloom cannot grow facial hair. He's got a goatee. You can see
this guy can't. This guy can't grow facial. I can grow facial hair. This guy can't grow facial
okay, look, just because he's not a grizzly bear doesn't mean he can't grow facial hair. He's got a goatee. Look at him. That's good enough. You Kodiaks guys that don't even need to wear clothes in the winter, just have your fur coat.
Bear.
Sorry, what did you say? I was busy growing a beard.
Pretty much.
Nice. Yeah, I don't know. I think if I make a demon hunter, which I think that's going to be my first character, it's going to have to be female.
She moved really nice.
Yeah, those two nice.
I'm actually kind of wondering how this guy's going to do the what's that movement ability?
Vault.
Yeah, vault. What he's because is he gonna, I would love it if he did cartwheels. That'd make me laugh.
They show a few screenshots of him in game, and it looks like he looks pretty badass from the screenshots.
I had the hardest time with the screenshots. I just could barely even see him on them.
Really? I got a huge one right here. Here, I'll link to it. And I'll throw this link up in the show notes too so that everybody can enjoy it. The Blizzard pretty much gave DiabloFans.com an exclusive interview or whatever to ask questions about the Demon Hunter for release, and I'll link to that in the show notes.
That was a good article.
Yeah,
I mean, I like
a lot
the
of good stuff
screenshot.
there.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, okay, he looks sweet.
Yeah, totally.
See that power stance? He's actually shooting a bow correctly. I want the female blood elf to take a look at this guy right now. See how he's shooting that bow. That's how you do it. If you're holding the bow with your left hand, you have your left foot forward. All right? Not the right foot. You're going to break your spine in two. Oh, thank you.
It is weird. The bow is kind of obscured in the shot, isn't it?
It is. Yeah. A little bit. I got another one here I'm bringing up where it looks like he just got done casting that. What's that spell called with the purple chain that binds enemies together?
Bola?
No, Bola's the red one that wraps around their neck.
Oh, what? What are you talking about?
Is it constrict or something like that?
Don't make me come over there. I will come over there. It's entangling shot.
There we go. Entangling shot. Yeah, he just shot that out with an absurdly large point on that arrow.
It's been too long since I've played the game. I'm gonna have to go to BlizzCon again.
Hey, the game might be in beta by that time.
Don't turn me on like that. Like that.
Turn everybody on like that.
And if I'm not in the beta, I will kill somebody.
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Now in the article they mentioned something about special quivers, like being able to, I don't know, socket a quiver or something to give it extra attributes.
Yeah,
or a skill or something.
It was actually a really good interview. But yeah, they're saying so among the arsenal that the demon hunter can have, the one of them that they can actually choose between two-handed bows, two-handed crossbows, one-handed crossbows, obviously not one-handed bows. But you could have a one-handed crossbow and a quiver, as opposed to having two one-handed crossbows, and the quiver gives, extra bonuses. So it'd be something, they compared it to the orbs for wizards or sorceresses,
right.
I guess it would have been.
Right.
Where it's just something that gives extra bonuses. So I could see, that actually got me pretty excited. That was a really cool idea, because you could have now I do poison. All of my attacks are poison-based or cold-based, or you could have so much versatility with what you could do with a quiver. I mean, since it's not needed, it'd just be I don't know,
extra little bonus attack.
Yeah, well,
extra
I mean,
damage.
and then it's the trade up, right? So I'm willing to bet dual wielding crossbows gives you increased attack speed. I mean, that's what dual wielding does. You attack more, right?
Right.
So it's an active choice. Do I want to be one-handed and quiver? Do I want to be a dual wielder? Do I want to be a two-hander? That is sweet. So instead of like the Amazon, like just take the ranged portion. If you're not going with like a Javazon or, well, I guess a javelin. If you're not going with spear, you had like bows, crossbows, and javelins.
Yep.
Right. So this is like quite a bit of
bunch of new
variety.
options.
I could even see like, I'm pretty sure, can't they use shields? I think they can.
Oh, we talked about that. They might be
there
able
was
to,
some
but
discussion about it.
it'll look weird. I don't see why not. I mean, if they have one-handed shields in the game, I don't see why they wouldn't be able to.
I just had this idea of like a one-handed crossbow, a shield, and like